And so that's always interesting, trying to find cash here. Sometimes the ATMs work, sometimes they don't. So bringing some American dollars with me just in case I need to exchange that for some pesos. All right, let's go to the ATM, Chrissy.
Good afternoon, good evening, or good morning, people out there on YouTube watching these videos. How y'all doing? I'm Dave. Y'all don't know me very well. I live in the southern part of Texas. I work at a ranch, a very large ranch here at Lago Vista, about 15 and a half miles west of Austin, Texas. Beautiful country land. I love it. I love it here. I wanted to talk to you. I'm gonna raise the seat up a little bit. I'm inside the truck right now, enjoying the aircon because, man, it's pretty hot outside. Wanted to bring up a subject. I've traveled a lot throughout my life. Back in 2005. Well, let's go further back a little bit, further back, all the way to maybe 1987. I had gotten married. My first wife had gotten married. She was from Mexico, so I immigrated her to the United States. We lived a happy life. Our marriage lasted 16 years. So about the area of 2005, we had already had 4 kids already. And around the time around 2005, she wanted to get a divorce because, well, she said it was my fault, but I still say it's her fault. She fell in love with my best friend, and my best friend's married at the time. So she wanted to divorce me to marry my best friend. So it's like, okay. From 1988 that I joined the police academy, and I graduated in 1989. I worked for the city police, and then I eventually just worked for the county and stayed at the county system, county level. In 2005, my wife decided to file for divorce, and I left. I've never been the violent type. I've never believed in family violence. You know, I would never dare hit my wife for any reason. So I left on my own, and she pretty much invited the guy, my ex-best friend, to live there, even though he was already married. So I'm not gonna go too much into detail into that. By 2006, I figured, you know what? I'm single. I want to see what life is about. Being single again. You know, I figure, being single is awesome, but it's not awesome. For you single guys out there, or you just barely got a divorce, if you're watching this video, it's not that easy. It's not that simple. You grow old. You forget how to pick up women. Actually, at least I forgot how. I didn't know how to pick up women, And I didn't really want to pick up any local women. So I figured, you know what? I want to get to know the world. So I got some vacation time from the sheriff's office and took off and flew to South Korea. I got to know the places in South Korea. I got a connecting flight and took off to Malaysia and took off to Thailand. Went to Hong Kong. Got to know a lot of people, and then eventually I just went to the Philippines. Very beautiful islands, extremely beautiful islands. And from there, I pretty much just came back home, continued on with my life. The judgment of the court in the state of Texas, I have no idea how whacked up they are, but apparently they said that my kids were better off living with their mom, which made me the victim of child support. Which, I mean, I don't mind feeding my kid, helping out my kid, but it wasn't my fault for being unfaithful. It was her fault. So I should have been the one that should have taken care of my kids. I love my kid very much. But in the same way, my ex-wife took my business. Also, I had a little business on the side, so she took my business away. So I figured, you know what? Let her keep the business, and she'll help grow the kids. And I'll be able to have a little bit more freedom. It worked out fine that way. My youngest son was still pretty much a baby. So I knew I was going to be stuck with child support for a good, 18, 17, 16 more years. But loneliness starts to grow in. And when loneliness starts to grow in, well, you want to get to meet somebody. You went on vacation, you got to meet all these different type of cultures, different type of women. The women in the Philippines were beautiful. So I met this young lady online. I was typing online, and I met this young lady through an LDS site, which is a church website and made for members of the church, to hook up when they're single and so forth. Met this young lady, very beautiful lady. She's from the Philippines. So I figured, you know what? I've been there only once, but I've never been to this certain city. I was unsure of myself. So I went. I got my vacation again. A couple of months later, I got my vacation, took off to the Philippines. Met up with this young lady in a beautiful town called Cebu. A beautiful city. Kind of reminded me like the city of San Antonio, Texas. About as big as San Antonio, Texas. Very clean streets. The people were very nice there. The people treated me good. And I'm a foreigner in their land because it was very obvious. I have white skin, blue eyes. I mean, it's very obvious that I'm not from that town. But people treated me fine. Very nice people in the Philippines. I got to know this young lady about a year or so of video chatting with her, so I was able to finally meet her in person. Very, very fair family. They came from the same religion that I came, so what more can I have? It was a good way to start a relationship with these people. Their family comes from the same church. They're God-fearing people, and although I've been a police officer since back in '88, I lacked the ability to tell the difference between fake and real. That's the thing about this. This young lady showed total 100% attention. I mean, she said, Dave, I like you, and we've been meeting each other, and and then she more or less suggested, well, since you're already here, let's just get married. It's like, yeah, you know what? I'm tired of living alone. Yeah, you know what? Let's get married. So the requirements in the Philippines were that I had to still stay 20 days minimum. I had checked with the U.S. consulate. I had to go to the U.S. consulate, pay a small amount of money to petition the Philippine government to let them know that I'm going to marry one of their own people, one of the Filipinos. So, there was a little bit of money exchange going on for some permits and certificates or something. So anyways, all that stuff was fixed. And then the marriage came around. It wasn't such a big wedding. It was just nobody from the United States came to my wedding. I had no best man. I had nothing. They killed a pig. They dressed me up in some type of weird clothing that's kind of looks like a silk shirt. They had buttons, but you can actually see the inside of you. So you had to wear a white t-shirt to the inside because this shirt was see-through. I don't know what they call it. I totally forgot what they call them. If you know what it's called, just put it down in the bottom in the link in the comment section. So we got married in the church. And of course, after the marriage, somebody allowed us to use their vehicle, and we drove around. Now, this was not in Cebu. This young lady was from Maasin City, Southern Leyte, which means that it's from Cebu. You got to travel in a ferry boat, and it takes all night to get there, because you actually arrive. If you left at 10 o'clock at night from Cebu, the ship travels until you arrive to Maasin City at 6 o'clock in the morning. So it traveled all night long. And of course, I had paid the tourist cabin, which meant that there was privacy involved. It's an air-conditioned room with 2 big beds and a private bathroom. It cost a little bit more, but there was more privacy, more protection. You pretty much sleep naked in there, and nobody would bother you. In comparison to the public bedding area, which is a bunch of cots all over the place with people that don't even know each other would sleep right next to each other. I had gotten the tourist section of the boat. So we arrived at 6 in the morning, and and we had gotten married at that time. She showed me where she lived, and it's just a little small house, made out of blocks. So it was a good house. We were, I'm gonna say, 50 feet from the ocean. We just traveled just about 50 feet, and there was the beach right there. So it was nice. It was like right next to the beach. But since it's a neighborhood, it's not what you call a very, very clean neighborhood. So when you'd walk to the beach, you can still smell, because people would sometimes keep their pigs close by, and pigs smell. It's like, the sewage system was pretty much open there. It's like, my gosh, even though it's right next to the ocean's beautiful, but it's just one of those things. So we got married. We went to a hotel. We stayed there. We didn't have to stay at their parents' house anymore. I stayed there for most of the month, and that was it. You know what? We went to different places in Cebu, and she took me to a lot of nice places in the Leyte area. We went all the way up to Tacloban, so now came the part of me bringing her back to the United States. I said my farewells, I came back to the United States, went back to work, and I arrived in the United States. I came back to work, and I just did my whole deal. I contacted an immigration attorney, explained to him that I had already married in the Philippines and so forth, and 6-7 months later, she was here in the United States already. So now, now I have her here. Now I get to show her around, the South Texas area, Austin. I took her to South Padre Island. Took her to a lot of places that she could know come different from what the environment was in the Philippines. It was different. Well, everything worked out fine for the first year. And in reality, 7 months after we got married, her little sister Ella got sick. And I'm like, and you want to excuse me, because sometimes I'm moving this light around because it's starting to get dark outside, and I'm trying to get a good feel to the camera. Anyways, her little sister Ella got sick. You gotta understand that they're a poor family. The majority of the Philippines are poor people, but this was a poor family, and she's explaining to me, my little sister got sick. She was diagnosed with leukemia. It's like, oh my gosh, that's a deadly disease. People don't normally survive that. People don't normally survive leukemia in the Philippines because the treatment is very expensive, and these people are poor. They cannot afford to treat their kids when they catch leukemia. Eventually, they just die. And I figure, you know what? Out of all those times that I went to the Philippines to visit my wife, I had bought a motorbike over there that I was giving him payments. So every time I went over there, I'd get to use my bike and drive around town and everything. And Ella always wanted to ride with me. Ella always wanted to be around me all the time. So she was my sister. She's my sister-in-law. But I pretty much treated her like if she was my own daughter, because I had, I had kids her age at one time. So she wanted to stick with me all the time. She loved being around me, and I felt bad because she got leukemia. And I wasn't going to let her die. I was making good money with the sheriff's department. So I told her mom, don't worry about your daughter. I'm gonna help your daughter. They didn't ask help from me. They knew that her daughter was gonna die because they didn't have the money to try to save her life. So I was gonna help out. Doesn't matter what it takes. I wasn't gonna allow this little baby girl to die. I mean, she's a sweet little baby girl. I mean, how can we allow her? I mean, it's just not possible. So for the next 5 years, I mean, she suffered a lot. I can show you pictures. A lot of people would think they're just scamming you. They're just scamming you out of the money. That's how people in the Philippines are. It's like, no, she's for real. She is sick. And I would get pictures of her, and she was losing her hair from all that radiation, and then she'd get injections of bone marrow, and went to a lot of doctor's appointments. My bail pretty much went up to about my bill went up to about pretty close to 20 grand. $20,000 that I had invested in her so that I could save her life. Money, I mean, I worked for the county, so the money was there. You know, I made pretty good money to support both of us, and I still sent money over to the Philippines because I wanted to save this young girl's life. I wanted her to have a chance to have a better life. You know, I was actually hoping that I could immigrate her so she could stay with her sister here in the United States, but that eventually wasn't possible. But the years that went by, she started losing out in a lot of school activities. She wanted so badly to go to college. She was getting better. She was overcoming the cancer with all the therapy that she was going, but she lost her hair and she looked different. And like, well, you know how it gets. You know, when people have leukemia, they go through a lot of therapy, a lot of radiation going on. You know, and I just didn't want her to die. I did not want her to die. There's no sense. What is the sense of making so much money if you can't use some of that money to save someone's life? You know, I was able to save that girl's life. As I said, her parents never asked for it. It was out of my heart that I said, I can't allow this little baby girl to die. You know, it's the same little baby girl that when I go out there and visit in the Philippines, she'd always want to hang on with me and like, hey, I want to go with Dave. I want to go with Dave. Like, a wacky little kid. And I didn't mind bringing her. I mean, hell, she didn't eat that much. I mean, we went on these trips around the Philippines and started knowing all these other places when we go to the Philippines. So I wasn't going to let her die. So anyways, there's something about my wife that was different. And remember I told you earlier that I had already, I didn't have the experience to judge between fake and real. Well, it turned out that the friends that she hung around with were kind of weird. And I'm talking about weird is that they look like lesbians. And then it never dawned on me because my wife is beautiful, you know. I could probably post a picture of her, but I probably won't because of privacy violations. But my wife was beautiful, and she hung around with these girls that were that looked like kind of like guys, but they were girls. It was like, But it never dawned on me. I was so. Either I was stupid or I just didn't have I had an innocent mind to think that maybe there's something wrong with my wife. And I started noticing it a couple of years after Ella, her little sister, started getting better now. She started getting better, even though she was still going through therapy. It was a lot less therapy now. But I had already noticed that sometimes my wife would disappear at night. When I'm working the night shift with the sheriff's office, actually at that time I was already at the constable's office now. I was working nights and my wife wasn't there. And I'm like, And of course, my wife already had a daytime job. You know, she worked at the hospital. She worked at a rehabilitation center. She made a little bit of money on her own to send to her parents, which I didn't mind. I didn't care about that. You know, as long as I made a pretty good money, I could help her out and I could help myself out. You know, I bought her a car. She wrecked it. It wasn't her fault, but she got the car wrecked. I got her another car. You know, at the same time, well, I had two jobs. She had two jobs also. She worked at the hospital and she also worked at a rehabilitation center. I worked at the constable's office and then I worked at a farm. So there was a little bit more money coming in. Ella had already gotten better, and she had already finished high school and wanted to go into college, and her mom didn't have enough money for the tuition, so I would start paying for her tuition. You know, here goes, you know, brother David, brother-in-law David, you know, hey, can you help me out with the tuition for this month? It's like, yeah. And then another month came around, and I ended up helping her in the majority of her tuitions and her books and stuff like that for college. She was going to a local college there, and she was there with her friends, so she was doing okay. So I'm still trying to adjust this light to get a better view here. Twist the camera up a little bit. There we go. I'm not sure if this is bright enough or too bright. I'm not sure, but it's getting dark outside. And anyways, going back to the wife, I kept noticing that she would disappear too much. And of course, when I was working nights, I would arrive and she would pretty much just get ready for work, but she herself was kind of tired. And sometimes I even smelled, you know, when you come into your house, you already know how your house smells. Well, there was a different smell in the bedroom. Like if there was another woman there for some, did you have some friends over? I would ask her, do you have friends over? No. I said, well, it smells different here. So anyways, I started to suspect something. Something was just not right. One particular night, I went to work as usual. And I came back home, but before I got home, I turned off the lights before I got to the house. And I slowly opened the door, made sure the alarm was off, and I creep inside the home, and I start walking upstairs real slowly, very silently, till I get to the bedroom, and I opened up the door and turned on the light. And I got the same surprise. Vision that I had with my first wife. The first wife was messing with my best friend. She was having an affair with my best friend, and I pretty much caught them doing something inappropriate, and I'm not going to go into details. But on this second marriage, I see the same thing. Like, well, my wife was getting it on, not with another guy, but with another girl. And like, oh my gosh, this chick is a lesbian. She's a lesbian. So her friend pretty much walks away, starts putting on her clothes, and she's leaving. Says, hon, when did you arrive? Blah blah blah. I just arrived a while ago. I went to the bathroom. Bullshit. I went to the bathroom and came back and heard noises. It's bullshit. What's going on here? Oh, there was just friend came over. She had a problem, and then she started. Well, she started to hug me, and then, I just felt bad for her. Like, yeah, but by feeling bad with her, you started making out with her sexually? What's the deal? I mean, you're married to me. Are you bisexual? Are you a lesbian? Oh, no, I'm not a lesbian. I'm not. It's like, just tell me you're a lesbian. That's fine. It's no big deal. The thing is that I did not marry you. I did not want to marry a lesbian. I'm going to tell you right now, I didn't want to marry a lesbian. If you want to be a lesbian, then we need to get a divorce, and we need to each of us go our separate ways, because although some of my friends might say, well, you're lucky to have a lesbian because she'll bring women over. It's like, dude, I don't want women over. I am a God-fearing person. I would just want to live with one woman in my life, and I just want to live with her. And that wasn't the case in this particular deal. She never said that she was a lesbian, but she loved women. She loved making love to women. What is a person that likes making love to women? It's got to be a lesbian. Our marriage started to break apart, little by little. It was very hard for me because I was getting too old. I was getting older, and I was figuring, you know what, my wife is beautiful, but her attraction was more towards the women. Yes, she would give me the attention that I needed. If I needed some attention, she was there. If I wanted something in particular, she was there to pleasure me whichever way possible. She didn't lose her obligation as a wife, but I wanted just a wife. I didn't want a lesbian. I didn't want to share her with other women. And even though there might have been instances where we went to the Philippines and she would introduce me to one of her friends, which was kind of hot, real beautiful girls, and she knew or she suspected that I liked them, and she ended up telling me once. There was one time that she told me while we were in the airline flying to the Philippines, honey, I want this relationship to last. I want to stay with you, and I'll make you a deal. So person. He said, yeah, I know you like her. I know because I've seen it in your eyes, the way you look at her. I know you like her. He said, yeah, but I'm married. He said, okay, I'll make you a deal. I'll allow you to make love to her, but I gotta watch also. And while you're making love to her, I want to make love to her also. It's like, no. Even though it was kind of tempting, but no, I cannot allow that. I am not that type of person. I do, as I told you from the beginning, even if I liked another girl, I would not do anything like that because I'm already married, and I just want to do things with you, not share you with other women. And she couldn't understand that. So eventually, we pretty much grown kind of apart from each other, even though we still slept in the same bed. We still made love, but it just wasn't the right love anymore. It was different now. Now that I knew that she was a lesbian, now that I knew that she loved women, I knew that if I'd be away from the house, I knew what she was going to be doing. And in some way or another, I kind of accepted it because I figured, you know what, as long as it's not a guy that's going out there to pork the wife, like my first wife, I kind of started to accept it because I really didn't want to let her go. I was getting too old, and I knew that I probably wasn't going to be able to find another wife like that. I'm sure there's a lot of beautiful women out there in the world, but it came around by the year 2014. Ella, her little sister, was going to turn 18 years old. And she had to say, hey, brother-in-law, what are you going to give me for my present? Because I'm turning 18. He said, my gosh, it's been 18 years. My gosh, I started helping her out when she got sick when she was 11 years old. I was like, oh my gosh, this girl has grown. It means I'm getting older and I'm getting too old. And I don't know. I had told her, I don't know what I might give you. And then my wife says, you know what? I want to go and surprise her. And I'll surprise her and I'll send her a gift. He said, well, you know what? You want to go to the Philippines? Here's the money and send her this gift, but make it a surprise gift. Oh, and before you leave, I'm going to tell you one more thing. If I find out that you're out there sleeping with other women, this is it. I'm going to tell you right now. I'm telling you right now. This draws the line right here. If I find out that you're sleeping with other women, you might as well come back to the United States and go live someplace else because I don't want you here anymore. And that was pretty much it. She left on her vacation. She left 1 week before her sister's 18th birthday, and I was working the night shift, and I get home and I get a strange message from a Filipina lady saying, "Hey, are you the wife of so and so person and so and so?" Yes, I am. She starts sending me pictures of my wife making love to her best friend, a best friend she had over there in the Philippines. So it's like, that's it. That drew the line right there. There's no freaking way I'm gonna hook up with this lady anymore. I'm tired. I don't want to have a relationship where this woman has to be sleeping with other women. You know, from the beginning, she lied to me. She was already a lesbian, and she acted like a normal, God-fearing person. And even her mom had lied to me. Her mom knew that she was a lesbian, and they all acted like if everything was normal. And I thought I was getting just a normal girl. And no, I pretty much got a lesbian. So she went to her party. I had all these photos. She's calling me on Skype and telling me, "Hey, honey, the party was great and this and that. And I had a good time." And I told you not to betray me. Said, "What are you talking about?" So I start sending her the pictures that this girl sent me. And apparently, the person she was making love to was her best friend, but it was really her lover before she met me. Her lover knew that my wife was married to me now, so she went to go look for another girl, and that other girl comes home from work to find my wife making love to her best friend. So she starts taking all these pictures and looks for me on Facebook and tells me, "Look, these are the pictures of your wife." I said, "Yes, she's making love with my girlfriend now." They're like, "Oh my gosh." The first thing that I told her, "Don't do this or I'm going to file for a divorce." Well, sure enough, she came back and she saw her clothes thrown outside. I didn't want her anymore. I didn't need a woman like that in my life, and she knew that. Eventually, to make the stories not so long, to make it short, she pretty much filed for a divorce about a year later. And she moved away. She moved somewhere up in Dallas, and now she lives with some other girl over there. I really don't give a shit anymore. But I'm an old guy now, and I'm by myself again. But I had to make a decision to either stay with a wife that's going to be sleeping with other women, and then when I come home, I'm just going to be getting seconds. That's not good. That's not even healthy for me. So it was best that I just let her go. And that's pretty much the end of my story for now. If you all have any comments on that, you all can link it below. And the battery is going dead on my camera, as I can see. It's down to 10%. But anyways, if you all like my story, you all subscribe, and I can get some more videos going out here. For now, you all have a good evening, and Dave here is going to be signing out.